say something. All right, y'all, we back. We had to stop and take a little bit of a smoke break. I mean, I don't smoke the Snoop Dogg greenage, but my brothers do. You know what I'm saying? They did what they did. You know what I'm saying? Get themselves right tight. You feel me? It's legal now, so we can talk about that. You feel me? There it is.
Head up.
You know what I'm saying? So, let me ask y'all. Well, I asked Tori since Tony to get up first. Start off with Tori. So, Tori, my question is for you, with everything that we've talked about, what is your next step? Like, what do you want to do as far as like with your life as you progress on? Like, what's a dream or a goal that you have next for yourself, or goals in general over the next couple of years?
Goals, I'm gonna get a house. I actually do want to reconnect with my older son. We haven't spoken since he was 16 over in person, or I haven't seen him since he was 16. We haven't spoken on the phone since around the same time. But we have text and message and stuff.
Right.
But, I have a son named DeAndre. He's 22. He lives in New York. And I wanna reconnect with him. I don't know how else to. But I keep calling. I got his phone number. Everything I got on my son, I found on my own. Nobody gave me nothing. So I've had to do some serious research just to get his phone number.
Yeah.
Because his mom wouldn't give it to me. So.
That nigga 22?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm 41.
Are you?
Yeah. I'll be 42 in December.
At least you aging good, because I did not think you was I thought you was like right around my age.
Yeah.
Shit. Only compliment you will ever hear me give Tori. So take that in, ladies and gentlemen, because that shit won't happen long.
Talk about me some more. I'll take your head off.
Side note too, I'm gonna start getting back on my workout thing because this past weekend I had a nigga call me thick, and then these two son bitches, as soon as they saw me, first thing Tony said was like, damn man, you done put on some weight since I saw you last. And it wasn't like that compliment, like, nigga, you done got some muscles. Like, nigga, you done got fat. What you been doing? When a nigga asks you what you been doing, this is like how, like, when you doing bad, or like you see somebody, you like, damn, are you good? You know what I'm saying? That same
like there's more than one way to gain weight.
I said, what you been doing? So, just so y'all know, that's why I do a lot of these videos sitting down, because I ain't gonna lie about the midsection. We getting there. You know what I'm saying? So I got the exercise ball outside, so we're gonna get together. But that's another mission, another episode we'll talk about is health and wealth and stuff like that. So,
but to finish the question, I want to get a house. I want to teach my son about getting a house, and he's learning from his mom because she has rental properties now. She has a couple houses out there that she's renting.
Low Tory.
Low Tory.
Okay.
Yeah. And I want to get all my sons together. I've had CJ and Tori together, but I haven't. Tori's only seen DeAndre twice.
Yeah.
He was a baby both times. Tori wants to meet his brother. Tori sent him a message. Tori did it on his own, sent him a friend request.
How old is he now?
Tori, 12.
Damn.
His birthday is November 5th.
I want to fight that boy at one point. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, yeah, I remember at Tony's house.
Yeah, he tried to take my girl's attention. I didn't like that. Just let it go.
He was like, wait a minute, but I'm talking her. That's my friend.
It's okay. I'll punch you in the throat. Who your daddy is, nigga. But
wait a minute. My son was hating on you.
He definitely was. But he light skinned, so he don't know. That's what they do, man. They don't know.
He was like 4, 5.
I'm telling you, it's in him, man. When they first come out, y'all can be different, man.
You know how tall he is now? It's like 5'10".
Okay, so maybe I ain't gonna talk shit to him now. He might fuck around with my ass.
5'9", 5'10". Come on.
Let me show a picture real quick.
Oh, I'm gonna show you a picture real quick.
But legally, you can't show them this picture?
I don't know. I just understand.
Well, while he's looking for a picture amongst all the dick pics that he got in here of somebody else.
Oh my God! I'm gonna pray for this dude.
It's funny because I feel like when people watch this, the first thing they're gonna think is like, oh, the niggas done got drunk and they high, and that's why they talking shit, not realizing it's just how we talk. Right. Nigga, damn!
Let me see.
That nigga big as hell. Well, your son's got your head. You definitely bad. So Tori look like your daddy, don't he? You heard these my kid. Tori, you like just got home.
I was at my niece's graduation party.
No, I'm saying you just got that uncle that just came home from prison. Yeah, just got all my kids together, you know what I'm saying?
I need the kids together for their birthday, even though it's 3 months late. Daddy gotta get it. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get that sugar.
So, Tom, let me ask you the same question. What do you see yourself, or what is it that you're trying to achieve over the next couple of years as far as goals?
Well, my goal when I bought the house was just to use that kind of as a stepping stone, right? So you get a house, you buy a house, and a lot of people think like that's it as far as you go.
Yeah.
My goal is to not just buy a house. I don't want to owe a bank for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Or until I retire. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to have a house that's debt free. All I have to pay is tax, property tax. So a way to do that for me, my goal is to build a house, buy some property, build a house. And when you do most of the work yourself, you save a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could save, if you do all the work yourself, you could save half, even more than half on a house. So for example, if you built $100,000 house, you could build it for $50,000.
Yeah, if you can like get the heavy shit done, the framing, and then you do everything else, like if you know how to do your electrical and drywall and all that stuff, you can do that yourself.
Right. So that's my goal. My other goal is to, both of y'all know right now I'm rebuilding a truck.
Yeah.
My other goal is to, once that truck is built, I'm hoping once the car we have gets paid off that we won't ever have to borrow money to buy a car again. Because I've never torn a car apart before, but I felt pretty confident that I could do it. So if everything goes like I wanted to, which I don't see why it wouldn't, then I could build another car in the future if I had to, buy a shell basically and just put a new transmission, new engine, new drivetrain in it and have a new car. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So my main goal is to not have any debt. Over the next few years, I'm trying to position myself to buy this property.
Behind you?
Well, I've been talking to them people, man, and they don't ever get back with me. I gotta keep calling them and stuff, and I don't know. I don't know if they ever want to get. You know how old people are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially, I don't know. Long story short, though, not that property. It'll be a different property that I'm talking about.
Side note: I'm gonna get Tony a shirt that your catch line for the show is long story short. You have such shirt. Short. That's the way I'm fucking line. Long story short, you said that about 14 times.
Right.
That's gonna be your thing.
That helps me remember to speed it the fuck up. Right. That's just like a mental marker. Like, long story short, okay, I'm dragging this the fuck out. So.
I've never had to do that, especially because I know me. I can drag on, or I can go on.
I can ramble and
different conversations and forget what the fuck I was talking about in the first place.
Right. Because there's so many ways you can go off a conversation.
Oh yeah.
So sticking to the topic is hard sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Because you might have so much to say about something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I already had to bring myself back. I had to ask the question.
Okay, so here's another question. This is something I talked about on the show where I said that I feel like as men, we feel like we always have to be tough. Like we feel like we can't be open. You know what I'm saying? And emotional, whether it's talking to your girl, talking to your friends, stuff like that. So my question is, because Tori, honestly, I kind of see you being a little more like that, like more like me, like somebody that can be a little more open. Maybe not, I don't know. Because you actually a little more cut off too, actually. Being more open as far as like your emotions and stuff like that.
I have been lately. Yeah, I have been lately. I talked to Tony and Tony. We talked. We talked when we had that phone conversation. But I've talked to Tony. I've talked to Tyann, to family, friends, some coworkers. If I had a chance to talk to you and I know you, you know what I'm saying. I've told them what I'm going through. I have no problem. I'm not ashamed. I was embarrassed and
Oh, man, I know. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I wanted to get off my line because I thought everybody thought I was crazy because, you know, I had a breakdown at work.
I know. I remember I came over there, nigga. You was sitting there with your hood on listening to My Last Cry by Brandon Knight.
Oh,
two McDonald's bags. I said, what the fuck is going on?
Two McDonald's. I was eating my sorrows, bro. Were they fries or that was pie?
You gave me one of the burgers, so I mean.
Oh, I had food on my
yeah. I definitely took one of the burgers.
McDonald's.
He was hungry. I don't care how you feel. Give me some food.
McDonald's bags.
Feed me some.
So the question is, do you find it hard as a man to be open, or?
Yeah, I still find it hard to be open. It's still hard because it's still, you know.
Do you feel like it's because you're a man, or just
that's as a man, you know, just as a man. You know what I'm saying? Suck it the fuck up and keep it moving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Stop all this bullshit and get out there. You know, everybody's telling you this, and everybody. Then you got the people that do care for you and they want the best for you, and you don't know what in the heck's going on. You know, because you're going batshit crazy. That's how I felt like I was going. You know what I'm saying? So.
What about you, John? Because you rough and tough. I mean, keeping it real. I think I maybe seen you cry one time, and even then it was like the toughest cry in the world. Like when I cry, I get the ugly face. I'm like, John was like, I was like, is this like a crying, or is he about to fuck somebody up? I don't even know what emotion he's in. But maybe I should hug this nigga.
Is that when he messed his mustache or something?
I guess it depends on what it's about.
Right.
I mean, if you say open up, sure. That's easy for me to open up about a lot of stuff.
It's all like emotional stuff. Like I know, like when we talk about government,
sure, yeah,
you can go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy for me to open up about emotional stuff. There might just be certain things that I might not want to talk about.
Yeah.
But I know I need to talk about it, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Have you thought about therapy?
Honestly, sometimes I talk to myself. I know that seems weird.
It doesn't. I talk to myself all the time.
Saying things out loud helps me rationalize shit. Because if it's in my head, it's a thought, and there's so much stuff that whizzes by. Yeah. And I don't get to kind of take it out, compartmentalize my thought, and then keep moving. It's just like I'm mad, or I'm sad, or I'm happy, and I'm trying to make a decision about something, like I'm about to buy some shit or some tools and shit. I'm like, yeah, but I need to fucking focus on what tools I need first.
Yeah.
If I ain't about to use this fucking tool until the end of the project, why am I buying? Right? Because I done got excited and I just made a decision. You know what I mean? But as far as like sad things, things that are personal to me, sure. I think it's hard for anybody to talk about stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Certain things just have I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but you don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
you don't want to be vulnerable.
Sure. I can be open about a lot of stuff, but
you don't want to be vulnerable when you talk about certain things. Because it's telling me that to be able to speak about certain things, you have to open up. You have to be, you know, you have to, whatever that force field or whatever you had up for not letting it out, you had to let it down.
Yeah.
To get it out.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And that's probably true for a lot of people. But I don't necessarily feel vulnerable if I need to talk about something that's personal or emotional. I don't feel vulnerable, I guess.
Well, I mean, when I mean vulnerable,
I just feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, uncomfortable or letting your guard down, being susceptible. If I said it right.
I feel like you did. I don't know if you used it right, but it definitely.
I mean, it's the right word. To be able to accept criticism, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or not even just criticism, just other people's opinion or thought, helping you process that thought or whatever it was or may be.
Yeah.
Right. That's all. Don't mess with me.
I do it all the time. I'm trying to talk smart. I fuck around, say a word. I said, I don't know if that's necessarily where it goes, but it sounds good.
Like what?
I don't know a specific word, but there's been times
I can't say that.
Smart. What's specific?
Water on the keyboard.
Oh, stupid. We got it.
Yeah, I can't say that.
Oh, but I was saying Pacific for a long time until Amber was like fucking with me.
What did you say?
It's specific, but I was saying Pacific.
Yeah.
For a long time, yeah.
Specific? Yeah, I can't say. Yeah, I'm about to try.
That's what, man.
About to stutter on that.
Take another sip.
No, it has nothing. I jack that word up all day.
You use jack up. But so Tone Bone, let me ask you, what's some of the best advice you got, and then what's the best advice you feel like you've passed down to your son?
Best advice that I got.
Yeah, just
life advice.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a good question.
Number one, good questions is what I do.
I think
respect it.
I think I could go for my son first. So best advice I think that I've ever given my son is advice on the courses and how, even though again he didn't listen to shit I said.
Yes, they don't.
But I gave him a heads up before he even got a girl pregnant. I gave him a heads up on how Michigan works as far as custody and men's rights and stuff like that. And again, he didn't listen, but I drove it into his head to the point where once he found out that the girl was pregnant, he knew fuck that. So, I may have given him some better advice, but in living in Michigan, a young man, one of the best piece of advice is you can give him is letting him understand family court.
Yeah.
Because every single 20-year-old is fucking right now.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a nerd.
Yeah, you definitely.
I don't care what you are right now. Everybody's getting it in. You can get it in with somebody. It's somebody for everybody nowadays. When we was growing up, there was couples in our school. You knew the ones who was couples because they had hickeys all over their neck. Now everybody's fucking.
Everything's online.
Everybody's fucking everybody.
Everybody's online.
And they be calling
kids out about kids.
Yes.
Fucking.
I'm like, y'all niggas is married?
Got 4 kids by 17.
I know this one girl, her daughter got pregnant. Her daughter is 15 and pregnant.
Right.
With her second.
Because I'm killing everybody.
That was rare. Back when
it was definitely
when we was kids.
It was rare. I mean, I had my son. She was pregnant in high school, her senior year. I was already kicked out of school.
Another thing I realized too, and I'm gonna get to you about the same question, but real quick, talking about what's rare and not, right? So I remember one time I was hanging out with my homeboy Jamonte, and it made me kind of realize like how we grew up and like how it's affected us as we got older. So at this point, I think LaRon was like 2, my oldest son, and I remember so we were hanging out at this club, and like it's like all these Ann Arbor guys. These niggas in college, they talking like they ain't got no kids. And then I looked at myself, right? And I was like, I'm the only guy in here with a kid. Mind you, a 2-year-old kid at that. And what I came to the realization was, so depending on where you grew up at, so I'd say Ann Arbor and Ipsy, because that's like what I got from that whole situation. Mm-hmm. In Ann Arbor, because it seemed like it was a lot more cliche to have kids at our age, they just didn't do it. They didn't think about it. Whereas like with us growing up at Ipsy, having a kid at a young age, that was like part of the program. You just did it. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't even think about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I always thought that was crazy. Like when I really like sat back and thought about it, I was like, me having a kid, it didn't seem like it was a big deal to me because all my friends had kids at my age.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If not 1, maybe 2 or 3 at that time.
You got outside. You saw.
Yeah. I saw the other side of it where it was like these guys, they didn't even think about having kids yet. Like they talking about going to college and getting degrees and doing all that stuff. I'm like, dude, I was like, I didn't even think about that growing up. You know what I'm saying? I was like, so when I think about our kids now, and the way they grew up, and the way high school is set up, like where LaRon goes to school at Belleville. The one thing I love about that is like they're setting them up for college. Mm-hmm. They teach them about like the way they do schooling is more college form. Whereas like when we were in high school, it was high school. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't really think about college. Like when I go into Belleville now, when I took LaRon up there, they got flyers for different colleges all over the place. Like they're motivating these kids to want to do more. Mm-hmm. Whereas like with us, I was like, I feel like we didn't get that.
Man, it was like get a trade, get a job, go work.
It was like
I don't care
if you was like sports for real. Like a lot of high schools didn't even give a fuck about you.
Really?
They didn't even like I know when I went to Belleville, and as I got bigger because I started working out, and I didn't say his name, but one of the principals there. He was like, right, he was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, getting an education. He was like, why are you not playing football? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I just don't really feel like it. And he was like, well, you're wasting your time. Who said that to a kid? But just because of my size, that's how he looked at it. Like, you're not playing sports, you're just wasting your time being here.
Right.
Whereas, like, now it's like, it's more about the kids going to college, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And I think that's dope. But it's like, I wish we would have had that. Because I feel like that would have motivated. Because I remember going to clubs. I don't know, dude, I would feel corny as fuck. Nigga, you at the club, you 20-something years old, girls like, what college you go to? Like, oh, I'm just like, at the club, just drinking, looking stupid as fuck.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that.
So I tell my kids all the time.
He been there. Look at him.
You would feel dumb if they asked you what college you go to?
Yeah, I have no college?
No. Not feeling dumb if they asked me what college I go to, but you sit here, I used to go to Ann Arbor just to go to the college parties. What class you taking? I'm from MC now, go to school out here.
But I just see what the kids get, like, so I tell my kids all the time.
It's just
I tell them, even if you don't go to college, because, like, college ain't for everybody.
No,
100%. Like, it's just not, you know what I'm saying? But I tell them the reason why I want them to go is to get the experience and the relationships. Because you can meet so many different people from so many different places that are doing it. So you hear about so many successful people that never finished college, but guess what? They met somebody there who maybe had a game plan or maybe that just had a different perspective of what they were trying to do. And sometimes I tell the kids, I say, if you don't go for the education, okay, that's cool. I don't give a fuck about that. Still, because you can learn on your own. College ain't gonna teach you every motherfucker. Let's keep it all the way. But the experience of going to college or just going places where you're meeting different people, realizing that the world is bigger than just what we know.
Right.
Because a lot of us can't see outside of Michigan. A lot of us can't fucking see outside of fucking Ipsy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Imagine growing up in another, like, I got a friend who was in the military. He ain't never seen a white person besides on TV.
Yeah. I remember Tiana told me, she said that she never really seen black people until, or not really seen black people, but she didn't really work black people like that until she worked at the plant.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was crazy because I'm like, but we don't think about stuff like that. But there's a lot of people that are like that.
Yeah.
Like, because they don't see it. But I think that's dope, you know what I'm saying, that somebody can get that perspective from being around us. Because, like, I know myself personally, and this is on to, like, something a little bit different, but just, like, I know how I carry myself as a black man. I carry myself with a lot of pride. You know what I'm saying? I take that to heart. Like, I know who I am as a black man. There's certain things that I might do or the way that I carry myself around certain people because I know that when people see me, they see the black guy with all the tattoos. Before I even fucking have a word that comes out of my mouth, that's the first thing everybody sees. So the first thing they perceive me as being a thug, a nigga that probably don't take care of his kids, all these different fucked up things. And then they hear me talk and they're like, oh, this dude kind of smart.
Did you speak well?
No, you know what I always got? I always got with something that always pissed me off. People told me I talk white.
Me too.
Oh yeah, I know you got that.
You speak so well. I was like, how am I?
I don't like that. I was like, I don't talk white. I talk proper. And that's only depending on where I'm at. Trust me, I can run my niggas all in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? But I know how to carry myself in different situations. And I see you guys doing that too.
Right.
You have to know how to carry yourself in this world, regardless of who you're around, like whether you're around hood niggas or millionaires.
Code switching.
Because if you don't, you can't get nowhere.
You know that's called code switching.
Well, me and my
you put your white. How you doing today, sir? It's proper. What up, cuz? How you doing?
The only thing is white. And that's, I want to take. I get why people say that, but I want to take that off there. I don't want it to be that's a white thing because it shouldn't be a fucking white thing. It should be.
It's
you know how to carry yourself where the fuck.
Right. Because when I first came from, because I was in foster care, I was going to Lincoln High School, and then I got kicked out of my foster home. Well, actually, I left. I walked out. She slapped me, and I walked away. Never went back. I ended up in Huron High School. I only know 2-3 people there. Yeah. My cousins and one dude who happened to go there. That was it. And first day of English class. Is your parents white? I said, no. Why? Because you talk white. I says, how does white sound?
Yeah.
It was like, what? I said, how does a color sound? It was like, what do you mean? I says, you told me I talk white. How does white sound? Well, you speak proper. Is there anything wrong with that?
Yeah.
No? Okay then. She was like, oh, okay. Like, first, second day in class, you speak white.
She probably expected you to sound like a damn black grizzly bear.
I know that's what people perceive me as. So they think that's what I'm about.
I was the same height and toothpick skinny.
Well, me and dude I work with named Cortez, we was talking about, he's from Detroit, and we was talking about, everybody knows that dude that can't turn the shit off.
Yes.
The guy that
I couldn't say his name right now because y'all both know him, but I won't.
right.
They
So
can't turn the shit off.
Can't start talking a certain way.
turn the hood, just turn the hood shit off.
Yeah.
Period. Whether it's stop talking a certain way or and it's not even about being fake. It's about okay. So what I was gonna say is that there's this dude that walks around the plant every morning. He comes past our spot on the corner, and dude looks like he just rolls out of bed, don't comb his fucking hair. I mean, you know how if you don't comb your hair for a while, if like you let yourself go out, it gets matted naps.
Yeah,
You know
got
what I'm
matted
saying?
naps.
No, he looks terrible.
You got some.
And the dude is young, you know what I'm saying?
You looking kind of thin up there, buddy.
What? Don't be there, guys. I mean,
I'm bald, but
I am
still.
sitting right here. This is one little spot, but we're gonna get off of that. Other than that, this is luxurious.
So you look like you done had a comb for your shit the last couple days.
I did.
Okay.
Right. So this nigga probably ain't had a comb through his hair in the last couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? And he always bopping around, walking like he tough as fuck, rapping through the plant. You know what I'm saying? Just
Bad guy.
look, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. But you gotta understand where you at.
Yeah.
Somebody sees you acting like there's a certain place where walking like fucking George Jefferson is not necessary.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody trying to out tough you in the plant, bro.
Right.
Look, rhythm is all a part of black culture. Period.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand that. But the bopping and shit, nigga, when you walking through, like you motherfucking bad as fuck, like you about to get in the ring, like that's your ring, like your ring walk. When niggas walk like that,
Yeah.
they're trying to show you that they ain't to be fucked with.
Yeah.
They got a bop to them. That's what that's for. Pimping like that, that shit ain't necessary at work. You don't have to do that. But it's certain people that can't turn that shit off. I ain't saying you gotta talk like a white person and sit here and say like this. So there is a difference between talking proper and talking like a white person.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so no offense to white people out there, but proper talking white people actually add letters to words that ain't fucking there, like milk. A lot of white people say milk. All right, ain't nothing wrong with that.
What?
There's nothing
What
wrong
word?
with that.
Hold on. What word is this?
Milk.
Milk. When you say milk,
They say
Yeah.
milk.
they say milk. A lot of white people say milk. A lot.
M-A-L-K?
Now, we're not talking about white people who grew up around different colored people. We're talking about when people say you talk white, a lot of times they're saying you talk proper, but when we say somebody's talking white, we understand that really means like the guy that talks kind of like this. You know? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So there is a difference between proper and like an urban white guy voice. You know what I'm saying? So I do understand the difference, but there are people who can't turn that shit off. So, for example, if it goes the other way too, if you're an urban white guy, right, and you trying to hang out with some brothers, I don't know what you would be down in Detroit for, whatever the case may be, and you just trying to be cool. If you bring that character to the hood with you,
Yeah.
again, you gonna get fucked with. Somebody's gonna say something to you about how you talking. Whether it's ghetto talk or super preppy white guy talk, on either end, somebody's gonna say something to you. Regardless. So if you can't turn that off, if you don't know how not to be this guy, don't hang out with dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't hang out with dudes because they're gonna make fun of you.
Right.
So if you can't, and it's not being fake. You have to be able to turn off things about yourself in certain places.
Yeah.
Because I know I can get overboard with shit. So I try not to talk. When I'm in certain places, especially about politics and stuff like that, I try not to say nothing because I'll get disrespectful. I'm a respectful person. But when it comes to
that Southside come out quick.
that's what I'm saying.
Hey, Union Hall, he was like, I ain't wearing this shit no more.
No, listen.
Tony is definitely Django. That's who reminds me. That remind me of Django, straight up.
Bro,
If we were slaves, that would be the nigga that would get everybody killed.
we leave.
But nigga, I ain't picking shit. Oh, we leaving. What are we talking about? Where y'all gonna be at? I'm gonna figure out a different way around this. I'm gonna get it another way. Let them get his foot down.
Oh shit! They had my yellow ass cooking beef germ and fucking cereal and shit. I'd have been in the kitchen with Benjamin Maneker and motherfucker talking about tired of cooking these blueberry muffins. Shit.
Oh shit.
Shit. But nah, that's you gotta be able to fit in wherever you go, and I don't call that fake. I call that a well-rounded person.
Yeah.
If I can go into the church and talk to your grandma and she comes and tells you, man, he's the nicest person ever.
Yeah.
Knowing good and damn well, I just fucking smoked some weed. We done snorted some coke. Not that I do coke. I'm just saying, if I can convince a church lady that I'm a good person, knowing good and damn well I'm not, obviously I know how to turn that shit off. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to do that in any situation, and you can fit in anywhere.
Yeah.
See, I learned how to do that at a young age.
I definitely did. I went to shit from kindergarten to 5th grade. I went to a predominantly white school. Savage grade school. It was nothing but white kids in the only people that was black were the kids from West Willow.
Right. And
so
that's only a few.
Yeah.
People.
They used to feel bad for us when they were like, you guys in West Willow, how did you guys survive? We've heard so much about everything that's going on out there. I explained it up. I'm like, just out here living, you feel me? Do what I got to do.
Tough survival was tough out here in the street.
Trying to join the gang.
Rodney is the farthest thing from a thug. You feel the Go Boy guy. Go Boy guy is more gangster than him.
One thing I say about myself too.
When it comes to handling your things, you got to.
I definitely.
But I don't see you walk around here with a thing on you like what?
No, because you want.
We got a problem.
The one thing I learned is niggas that be talking the toughest be the softest dudes in the world. The guys that be talking big and bad be the weakest motherfuckers in the planet. But the quiet niggas, them be the ones that put their fucking hands and feet on you. So what I learned very early on was I'll downplay who I am to make a motherfucker feel comfortable. Because as soon as you start to slip and thinking that I'm a particular type of way, that's when I'm on that ass.
Right.
And I know a lot of times people like, I've talked about that too. I was like, people take the way that I talk or the way I act and they were like, oh, Rodney, he weak, he this. Okay, that's cool. Go ahead and think that. But understand, there's a reason why these other niggas respect me the way that they do. Because when I had to be who I was and who I am, I'm going to be that person. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be that all the time. I don't have to be super thug 100% of the time.
Right.
If I got to get it in, then I'm going to get it in. But it's only when I need to. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be that guy all the time.
Right.
Tone, on the other hand, he just exudes like, I'm going to shoot your ass tonight. Tony will show you. Tony, when I first met Tony, I didn't think he was even mixed. That's a nigga. He mixed.
What, you meet him at Celine?
No. So I guess we might have met, we passed each other once at Ross at Celine. I didn't meet him until we got to Ross when we first started.
I met you at Celine on the Focus Line.
Because he worked eggs on the Focus Line. I worked
story about his cousin in the couch or something. Somebody in the couch, a sandwich bag in the couch. I don't know if it was.
Oh no, that was that lady in the lunchroom telling that story.
I can't remember because I remember him saying like.
Let's talk about the lady in the lunchroom.
I said you just had that story about the lady in the lunchroom.
No, yeah, the lady in the lunchroom. It was the lady in the lunchroom. Yeah, she was telling that story, bro. We was in there.
I'm going to drink some out.
You got to keep material going on the show.
Oh man,
dead silence.
Yeah,
your views are leaving you.
We used to have some fun back then, man. That shit used to be crazy.
Potlucks, nothing right at the.
It was some wild people that worked at Celine, bro. That lady that would always be telling crazy stories about her son, and then the dude that used to wash his balls in the sink. What's his name? Paul.
Paul.
Yeah.
Then you
No,
got-
he ain't Arabic.
No.
I thought he was Arabic. He had a beard and everything. You know what I'm saying? We assumed he was Arabic, but he wasn't. This dude is a white dude. I asked him. Yeah, I asked him.
He was that.
I asked him.
Paul.
Yes.
So you had Paul, then you had Dennis. The one that wore his gloves everywhere.
Oh yeah.
We call him Dick Mitts.
Yeah. Yeah, Mitts. It was some wild people that worked there, boy.
Then you had the scabies dude, always walk around digging in your garbage can.
Right.
Oh man, that was horrible.
Paul had digging the garbage can too, looking for
Both of them.
looking for the cans and stuff.
Paul.
He was one that used to sit there and take a bath when he was upstairs in the bath.
Yeah, he had like a bird bath in
It
the
was
sink.
weird to us.
And then you had Paul, you had Mitts, Dick Mitts,
Yeah.
Dennis.
Yeah, you know
The older dude, he was just the
You know,
nastiest dude. We called him Dick Mitts because he never took his gloves off.
Dick Mitts.
He had his gloves on. If he walked in the plant, he had his gloves on. If he went to the bathroom, he had his gloves on.
Probably good.
If he went to work, he never took his gloves off. He probably started the shit with the gloves. It's the same glove that he had for years and things never worn out. And he'd wear them all day. He'd never take them off. If he was eating his food, he was eating his food with them gloves on. If he was using the bathroom, he had them gloves on. If he was outside, he smoking a cigarette, he had them gloves on. Then somebody nicknamed him.
Okay.
Dick Mitts.
So let's reel back in real quick. So this question, the question was like 30 minutes.
We just took a break and we
I don't
took all
even know what that question was. What was the question? I remember, trust me, I ain't gonna hold you about 15 minutes ago. I had to remind myself of the question was. So I can remember to give it to Tori. So Tori, what's the best advice you got and what's the best advice you passed on to your child? Children, actually.
Best advice I've ever gotten was don't wait for somebody to teach you something. You can teach yourself.
All right, okay. He was saying about that. He came with that.
No,
too fast.
seriously. No, I've always taught myself how to build computers and do everything that I learned. I've taught myself. Nobody's took the time to taught me. If I wanted to learn how to do something, I do it.
Yeah.
And I teach my son the same way. You want to learn how to do something? Tell me. We can go buy the stuff and do it together. He's like, huh? I'm like, yeah. Just do it. Read. There's books on everything. There's to learn. You know what I'm saying? Never stop learning. You know, and I teach my son the same thing. If you want to learn something, go out there and get it.
Yeah.
You know, because just thinking about it, my friend, my foster dad, if I remember the story correct, he went up to Washington Community College. Just want to take the aptitude test to see what kind of classes he could take. You know, Washington Community College got a book of classes you can take.
Yeah.
They told him after he took the aptitude test, they said there's nothing they can teach you here. You need never went to school a day in your life.
Mm.
So that's if I remember the story correct. But
I thought when you asked the question, I thought you had asked, what's the best advice you gave your son and what is the best advice you can give? I didn't know you said best advice you got.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're a little smart.
Yeah.
So do you have that? Do you have the best advice you got? Because you got some old school niggas in your life, so you probably heard some crazy shit like, don't let the river run dry.
I'm telling you, man, there's so many people in my life that have given me so much wisdom that honestly, I mean, just off the top of my head, my mom, my granddad used to say some stuff too, but my mom, she owned a transportation service, and I worked there. That was actually my second job for a long time.
I remember you was working at the plane. You was doing the second job.
Yeah. I remember you coming to work tired.
Yeah.
I mean,
was tired
I think I got a picture of you and Shannon, you both over there.
I was angry all the time. I slept every break. But that when you're driving for a living and you got a schedule, you know, you can't really afford a lollygag and be behind the guy that's doing 35 when you need to do 45.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that's much of a difference. But when you're on the road and you have to pick these people up at a certain time, an extra 10 miles an hour for 10 miles is a difference. It's a big difference. It means the difference between you making it through a few lanes. You know what I mean? Or getting behind a truck or whatever the case may be. And then if you do that all day and you continue to get 5-10 minutes behind, by the end of the day, you're not picking up that last person.
Yeah.
And you done got too far behind. So my mom, her thing is when she would have morning meetings and stuff, usually it would be like Mondays or whatever it was. She would talk to the drivers and she would tell the drivers not to speed, but drive with a purpose, right? And that means you have a destination, get to where you're going, don't let people hold you up. Don't let people drag you behind. And that's something that I carried over into my everyday life, is do everything you do it like you have a purpose for it. Even if you're sitting there doing nothing but scratching your ass, make it have a purpose. There has to be a point to it. Somewhere, somehow, you have a purpose. You have a destination you're trying to get to. Let's get to it.
That's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? And that's something that my mom has always said. Drive with a purpose. Drive with a purpose. And you can take that into any aspect of life. You know what I mean?
I mean, you were talking about where she came from, because, I mean, we had talked before, but just where your mom came from the South Side, and what was it, Perry School?
Mm-hmm.
Going from Perry School to the house, and, you know, I always talk about Benz, because that Benz is just in my head right now.
Right. I know. That was like my mom's pride and joy.
But just to go from that to that is such a dope thing. And I was going to say, too, like, though I didn't know your mom that well, the one thing that you can tell, like, and this is something that I think about myself, our kids are a reflection of who we are, right? Mm-hmm. So when I think about that, even though I don't know y'all parents or who you guys were raised by, obviously people that you guys have been around, it's who affected you guys and be the way that you guys are now. So especially like what you, like I said, like when you talk about your mom, like throughout this conversation as we've talked about stuff, who's inspired you, what is this? I know you love your dad, so it's not taking anything from him at all. But it's like, to know that that woman has inspired you and motivated you and given you all these different things that you pass on to your child, that's dope to me, because not only because of her being a woman, but also because there's this cliche thing of like how white women act with their kids. You know what I'm saying? So when you see something in somebody that's very different from what we consider as being like the cliche or what we, you know, see on a regular basis, I think that's awesome, because it shows that it's not about the color of somebody's skin, it's about who you are as a person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I can see 100% like how your mom has affected you and how she's helped you become a certain person. Thanks, Tori, for interrupting my great moment. Let me go out to the garage. Who is this? You got the Bluetooth?
Hands free.
But in all honesty, and even like with your sister, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember you tell me like stories like how she used to be just beating the shit out of people when y'all was growing up. Just being that rough, tough person, you know what I'm saying?
She ain't play.
Yeah. And I think that's dope, because a lot of times people don't see that, or they don't think that.
Right.
We have these perceptions, so when I see stuff like that, I just think that's just, I just think that's just amazing to me. Because I know how much my mom affected me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not having a dad. And like you had both, and like to still see how your mom affected, that's fucked up. Affected your life, and then see you then pass that down to your son, and then you're going to pass that down to your grandson and stuff like that. Like, that's just that's fucking dope.
Well, you said it affected. It is infectious. When you start down a certain path and you see a result or some type of benefit of what you're doing, even if it's small, you're happy about that shit.
Hell yeah.
Even if it's like the littlest progress, you're like, hell yeah, this shit is working. You know what I'm saying? So doing something with a purpose is kind of that. You know what I mean? How am I trying to say this? when you wake up every day, right, and you think about whatever it may be when you first wake up, I'm hungry or I got this, whatever it is. Usually the first thing that comes to your mind isn't what's motivating you to get up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if you can wake up with that on your mind and you can get into that mindset, it gets to be so much more easy every time you do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when you, like I said, when you finally see that little bit of progress, that makes you want to do it even more.
Like, you mean how to self-motivate or whatever?
Basically.
Yeah.
Right. So like we was talking about having a purpose.
Need to hear themselves saying what they want to do. Like this one dude, he just put a picture of this house on the wall.
Exactly. Yeah. Something that simple is your doing your life with a purpose. You look at that every day and you're like, that's it right there. That's my purpose. And when you wake up to that, it becomes easier and easier. It's just like saving money. Once you actually put a little money away, even though you might not be, making a lot of money. I know when I was paying all that money in child support, it was hard to save money. Yeah. It was hard to save money. So, if you're in a situation where you're paying child support or something like that, it can still be done. It just ain't gonna happen all at once. Yeah. It's only a little bit at a time. But after a year or so of you doing it, you see that money stacking, you like,
oh shit, you start to cut out everything else too. Like,
boy, we ain't going out to eat this week. We ain't going to Burger King.
No,
Baby talking about, yeah, I want ice cream. No, you got yogurt in the fridge. You know what I'm saying? And you start, you notice you start
to drink that 37 cents worth of pop.
Right, exactly. You letting it get warm. I done paid to cool that off, and you letting it get warm. You know what I'm saying? So I started turning into my grandfather like overnight when once I started seeing a progression of what these things that they had been telling me to do. I was taking their advice finally. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm trying to do. Once I started seeing that, I was like, oh shit, yeah, I can do this. And when you got a female that's next to you that can be on that same level, y'all both want to save money, y'all both working, that's when you can really break through into that next level, because it's hard to do it by yourself. It can be done. You can still buy a house by yourself. Yeah. It's just going to be half as big. So, look, driving with a purpose, living your life with a purpose, in my opinion, always can get easier every time you make it over that goal. Yeah. So, Tori, I know I was in your situation. I ain't gonna speak too much on it because I don't know if you want to talk about it that much. But I was in your situation before, and that shit is hard as fuck. And that was kind of why I brought up what I brought up, was because it's frustrating. And trying to live with a purpose when you got people taking out your check, taking out your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Living with a purpose, it feels like it's impossible.
I've been there.
You feel like you living for every time you turn around, like. It's like I swear to God, I went to the store and you walked out the store, but as soon as you get your check, it's like it's gone.
It'll pay off in the end though, because I got.
Oh, I know it will. All right.
It took me 10 years to get my license, but I promise you, bro, getting all my shit paid off the way I needed to, and I ain't got everything paid off, but like the shit niggas that was garnishing me, when that shit was done. Oh God.
Did it make us move to the next chapter?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this bullshit.
I didn't know that if I could save $15,000, I could go have me a decent sized house. If I clean my credit up.
You wouldn't even have to save that much.
I mean, but literally 15.
$5,000 could get you into a house. That's all you two want.
I'm trying to sponsor so I can start Trump to sponsor me.
You see, I turned the bottom. I was just hoping maybe somebody from Hennessy was watching.
And I do drink that water too, so let's get it. I need all of them. Okay, so final question before we get ready to end this. You know what I'm saying?
I like this. I want it to be the final question.
Only because we're going.
But this is what we would normally do.
We're chop it up still when the camera's on. But so final question. Let's start with the tone bone. What's something you would tell your younger self? Like what's something that 40-year-old Tony would tell 20-year-old Tony? Or not even 20-year-old Tony. Whenever you was at your like
worst.
Yeah. What's something you would tell yourself? That shit is hot.
That's a good.
That's not what I'm telling myself, but that's what I'm telling myself. No, that shit's fucking hot. Ain't nice.
That's a good question.
Oh, shit, I melted.
If I could go back and talk to myself,
This is a specific age, or
just whenever you was at your worst. I would say when I was at my worst would be when I found out my girlfriend at the time was pregnant. And looking back at it, that wasn't my worst, you know. But I thought it was. At that time, I thought it was. So
I was the cliche dude that ain't mine. I'm not gonna hold you up. Yeah. Not because you don't think so, it's just you scared. You don't know what to do.
There's a lot of times.
That's a fear.
A lot of times you know.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I told her I'm not ready for this.
A lot of times you know if it's yours. If you got any questions,
I knew it was mine.
if you got any question about it, it probably ain't. You know what I'm saying? If you got any doubt about it, it probably ain't your kid.
I'll say this. I knew it was mine, but not knowing what to do, hearing that I'm pregnant, because I knew what I was doing. At the end of the day, you know, we say we have accidents and shit like that, but at the end of the day, if you're having unpredictable sex, that's always a consequence.
What do you think is going to happen?
It's just that simple. But at the time, 19-year-old Rodney, oh yeah, I was scared. I didn't know what the fuck to do.
Right.
What the fuck I'm going to do is
right, exactly. So I think, right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think what I would have told myself was,
wrap it up. Sorry, Tyler.
Well, it's too late because she's already pregnant. So
yeah,
that's,
I talked to Tyler about that, and he right after I talked to him about doing the right thing and blah blah blah, he told me exactly. Like literally right after, seconds.
So I think I would say, I mean, you know, that's 99.9%. I'll just say 100% of pregnancies are because of that right there. But no, I would just go back and maybe tell myself, that the worst is yet to come.
Yeah.
You know, you think that having a kid is hard. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where it's the best thing that ever happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if I could be myself and tell myself that, and as a kid I know this is me talking to me, I probably would have led my life a little bit different from a younger age. But I think going back and talking to my younger self fucks up a learning experience, you know, because that older self got all those learning experiences. So if this was Back to the Future, if you go back and tell your younger self all that information, your older self doesn't become that person.
Yeah.
He's not as wise as he once was.
No, because you just were told to avoid all these problems. So it's like, is that a good idea? You know what I mean? Is there? So I think it would benefit more than it would hurt, but that's what I would tell myself.
And Troy, same question. What would you tell yourself at your worst?
I have no idea. I've been thinking about this. I have no idea.
That might be what you tell yourself.
Hard times are gonna come, but
yeah,
stay strong. That's it.
You think your hardest times came when you was a kid or not?
I'm dealing with more stuff about when I was a kid now than I was, when I was a kid.
Therapy does that. Therapy does that. It definitely brings up shit you was like, it's so many shit I've been. I realized that affected me as an adult. But I'm like, that's why I was joking about
it. Yeah.
Right, because you had you felt some type of way about it, but you wasn't sure what it was. So you was like, yeah, fuck that shit.
Yeah, I think no, I mean,
To let the past go.
Yeah.
Cause I held on to shit way too long. And I've let some go. You know what I'm saying? But like as I got older, you know, you tend to not be afraid to ask certain questions to your, you know, my elders. You know what I'm saying? And you'll learn. I mean, I learned more stuff in the last few months about my family than I've learned in a long. I mean, and then about my parents. You know, about my mom that I didn't have no idea.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it changes your whole perspective on everything or whatnot, and your whole outlook on everything. But you know, I'll if I can tell my younger self something, just you know, let that shit go. There's no reason to hold on to it.
I think I would tell my younger self, because I've been thinking about this before I even asked the question, is to be happy. Understanding what that entails. It doesn't matter.
Exactly, there's a difference.
Doesn't matter how much money you got. Doesn't matter where you live, the car you drive. Then be fucking happy. Life is too short. We all know people that have died our age, younger than us, a little bit older than us. We all know people that have died different ways. We all know people that are spending time in prison. That would be the thing I would tell myself. And I think about the times when I was angry, the times when I was just tripping and just doing stupid shit, I would tell myself, focus on your happiness, nigga. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. Doesn't matter what you got, where you at, who you with. If you're fucking happy, that makes everything worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would tell myself. Because as I've gotten older, that's been definitely one of my goals, is just being happy. Like with this show right now, I don't care what happens to it. If people watch it, they do. If they don't, they don't. You know what I'm saying? But this makes me happy just doing this. My job is my job. But this is what I love doing. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like that's what that's become my focus, is being happy. Because that's something I can pass on to my kids. You know what I'm saying? When I look at my kids and it's like, they see dad going to work every day. They see us being able to live a particular type of way because of dad going to work. It's like I always tell them, like, dude, that's cool. And I want you guys to want that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, be happy.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of rich people that are depressed and the killers.
Right. And that runs hand in hand with the process of waking up every day and being able to be happy. You know, you have to put yourself in a position. It's a lifestyle change. Because making yourself happy when you're already not, it's a lot easier to make everybody else happy.
Hell.
You know, it's very hard to look at yourself and be like, look, this is what you need to do. And even if you have a plan on what you need to do, it's not always easy to execute.
Not at all.
Even if it's just as simple, you know, a lot of people who start working out, they start out getting up and their first workout might just be walking around the block.
Talking about putting on some weight?
No, I'm talking about because we was talking about working out earlier.
Oh, what I'm saying, yeah. Nigga, last thing is on the sneak though. He trying to slide in with a message and shit. You know, niggas work out. I know it's hard. Told me 40 minutes. You think it was hard?
You think I work out?
So that thing might not be yours, but I'm gonna keep it on under the table.
It might.
The cups is covering it.
But you're a little bit taller than me, so your belly should stretch out a little bit.
Oh, mine's sticking out there.
Yeah, you like 6'2", you still got one.
I'm 6'1".
You like that?
Do me a favor, shut up.
But being happy is hard. I mean, it's hard, man. You're not always gonna be happy because there's always somebody that want to pull your ass down into the swamp of sorrow, like from fucking never-ending story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when you get in there and you start thinking them fucked up thoughts, the deeper you sink. You know what I'm saying? And you can't get out. You gotta have Falcor go pull your ass out the swamp of sorrow. You know what I mean? But it's a lifestyle change, just like a diet, just like working out, just like with anything, man. You know, drinking. If you start drinking all the time, your life gonna fucking change.
Yeah.
You know, whether you want it to or not. You know, and being happy, man. That's something that it's easier to do a lot of other shit.
Yeah.
being happy is something that
you actually
you
have to work
need.
at.
Yeah, you need that process. You need that. I gotta be happy today up on the wall, smiley faces on the wall or whatever. When you wake up, that's what you need to see until you can do that.
I'm trying to find my, I got my job, but back in the day it was computers.
It's still good with computers.
Well, my thing with computers was just getting on, I was CD man. I was hustling man with the CD.
But you know more than that, don't you?
I know more than that, but everything you can do now, here, this is just as powerful as my computer.
What I'm telling you is this. The hardest thing to do that I've learned is finding your purpose. Because I know with me, even coming down to this right here, this wasn't an easy thing to figure out what I was supposed to do. Because I think to myself, I'm like, well, I can sing, I can rap, I can write, I can do this, this, this. I know I'm good at comedy, but I'm like, what can I do that's going to incorporate all those things? The hardest part, especially as you get older, right? The older that you get, the more you get fearful of failure. Because we understand what failure is.
Right.
Our kids will rap because they don't give a fuck about failure.
Right.
They just do it just to fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? They'll do music, they'll get a job, they don't give a fuck about failure. I don't give a fuck about failure. But we understand what failure entails. Because we're no longer, if we fail, it's not just about us. It's about our kids.
Yeah.
It's about the person that we're with. You know what I'm saying? If all this shit, if I invest $10,000 into this and this shit goes down the fucking toilet, it don't just affect me no more. It affects everybody that's in my fucking circle. So once you have that, that's what makes it even harder to try to go for whatever your dream is. For me, I just constantly tell myself, and I visualize the fact that I know I'm not living to my full potential. I know that God has a different plan for me. The plan's cool, but this is also part of whatever it is that He's taking me to. This show right here, I say this all the time because I'm speaking into existence. I know this show is going to get huge. I know that this show is going to take me out of the plan. This show is going to take me to start building my generational wealth, not only for myself. Did I say that generational? Yeah, I said it right. Okay, I didn't know if I said it right. But not only for myself, but for my kids, but also I talk to God all the time about putting me in a position to be able to help other people. Like I know that my friends, such as you guys, my brothers, you guys have dreams and goals. If I can in any way, shape, or form help y'all, because I know y'all will do the same for me, that's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? That's where my happiness comes from. Not only from helping myself, but from helping the people around me. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's my wife, my children, or like I said, my brothers. Seeing you guys be able to do stuff like me and I was talking to my son recently, and I told him I was like I'm not really close to my family. I wish I was, just not. You know what I'm saying? So
I do too.
My family perspective comes from you guys. You know what I'm saying? The guys that I hang around, you guys are my family. When I see the way that, you haven't really yet because this is the first time over here, but when I see the way my friends talk to my son, y'all talk to him like the way I wish somebody would have talked to me when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's LaRon or even Preston or even my daughters, you know what I'm saying? So it's like when they talk about it takes a village, that's what I'm trying to build. Now that's the type of shit I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about all of us doing stuff that's going to not only help our own children, but our friends' children. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes our kids don't listen to us. Sometimes they listen to somebody else. Like Tyler might not listen to you, but he might listen to me. You know what I'm saying? Lil Tori might not listen to you, but he might listen to me, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? LaRon might look at me like, well, Dad, you don't really know about sports because I don't watch sports like that, but you guys do. Right? So there's particular things that he might talk to y'all about that y'all can motivate him in a way that I never could.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, getting back to, I kind of went off on a tangent, but the point being is that when I think about myself and saying this to you, just keep looking, keep working. I found what works for me.
Yeah.
I know Tony has found what works for him. It'll come to you. It don't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter when it fucking happens. I tell y'all something I ain't told nobody, and I'm putting this on camera. I told my sister and I told Amber. I had a dream one time, bullshit or not, that I won an Oscar for playing Stevie Wonder in a movie. It's one of those things that it sounds crazy, but when I think about it to myself, that's what I feel like this is gonna lead me to. This is gonna maybe not winning that, but this is gonna lead me to being an actor. This right here is going to lead me to so many different fucking avenues. And I feel like I know God is telling me, Rodney, you doing what you're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. You put in the work, I'm gonna do everything else. You just have to put in the work. So that's what I told y'all before. First, I didn't really want to do this episode today. I was kind of just on some other shit.
Right.
But I'm glad I did because it motivated me to sit there and think, if you can get through shit, it's just gonna keep on pushing you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I know that this episode, people see it because of who you guys are. and how y'all carry yourselves, and even like with myself, like when I first did that episode talking about like my mental issues, everybody knows me as Silly Funny Rodney.
Right.
So seeing an episode where I'm talking about suicide or different facets that were going through my head at the time, that's going to cause people, whether they see it before or they see it years from now, that's going to cause people to be like, if this silly ass nigga could decide that he wants to do something different, why can't I?
Mm-hmm.
When they see you being serious Tony all the time, because that's what we know you was like a serious dude all the time.
I know him. We know him.
Yeah, well, we know different times, but I'm saying, but everybody else who don't really know you,
right,
they see you as being serious all the time, but them seeing you being this open, dude, you don't know who that's going to open up doors to,
right,
who that's going to affect. And same thing with you. You always happy, funny, corny ass fucking Tory. And when we hear all this backstory about you, it's like, well, shit, if he went through all that and he could still be walking around with a smile on his fucking face, why can't I?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have no fucking excuse.
Yeah, you could be reaching people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted this to do. I want this show to affect people in a way where we sit back, where people can, it might not affect the world because they don't know us, but the people that are around us who know us and they see these specific people on a day-to-day basis, and it changes them to sit back and think to themselves like, well, these guys can do it. If these guys can talk like this, if these guys can be this open, if these guys can change, if these guys can walk around smiling, know that they've gone through hell and high water, why the fuck can't I? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We right now are giving people no excuses to be piece of shit's dads, to be piece of shit people. We're showing people you can be different, you can be happy, you can do what you want to fucking do if you just do it. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's somebody who's already progressing, somebody who's in the point of progressing, and somebody who's getting to that point of progressing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? When people see shit like this and they watch it, it's going to change a lot of people's lives. And that's what I think is dope. That's why I'm glad that I got us all together. I do believe this was number one God bringing us together. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what everybody believes in. I talk about that all the time because I don't force somebody to believe something. I know what I believe in and why I believe that just because of what I've gone through. But I believe that God brings us all together for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at this and I see the conversation that we've had through all the comedy, through all the regular conversation, through the seriousness, this is going to change people's lives. Somebody's going to see this and they're going to see 3 different perspectives that's going to reach somebody that's like, you know what, damn, if them niggas can do it, why can't I? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If they can be like this, why can't I? So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for coming out. I truly appreciate all y'all, to these brothers right here. I truly appreciate you guys for being open and talking and speaking y'all truth right here at the table of truth. But thank you guys. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Don't forget, see the Teesprings. Go buy y'all merch and whatnot. Keep watching the episodes. This is probably going to be 2 parts. This shit was long as stuff. But thank all you guys. I appreciate you guys for coming and checking out every single episode you have. Brothers, kings. Thank you once again for you guys coming and chopping it up with me and chilling with me.
Man,
getting buzzed up with me because I am definitely at that point feeling super saucy. Got the sippage. You know what I'm saying?
Next time I have to come over a little earlier so I can get a little more loose.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, we're going to get that Tony, real spicy Tony.
Spicy Tony.
But I appreciate you guys on some real shit. I do love both of you guys. Thank you guys. The niggas can't say that.
Love you too, bro.
He gave me the head bob. Tony's like,
I was gonna wait till he was done talking.
Nah, he gonna call us up as soon as he said, love you too, motherfuckers. Ain't gonna say it. Fuck.
We'll talk about that too. Toxic masculinity. That was cool. But thank you guys. Appreciate y'all. Peace out. Anything y'all want to say before we end this?
Thanks for having me, man. I enjoyed it.
No, man, I just
super.
I just want to say thank you. To the table of truth. You understand?
Yeah,
come down, come together. Yeah, I mean,
he said it with a VA.
come down, come together.
Together.
To the table of truth. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
In the lair of justice and the hall of justice. Yeah, I mean.
Okay,
you get it out.
We leaving that fucking nonsense. So are you on Bluetooth? Would you like to say anything? Okay.
Bluetooth.
So I know y'all heard
Bluetooth.
Y'all heard Bluetooth a couple times, so I'm gonna tell the story real quick. So how we came up with Bluetooth was one day we were on the line. I think Tony said, Tori was Bluetoothing. He said, "What is Bluetoothing?" He said, "He's hands-free jacking off." What that means is that you take your dick, you put it in your belt buckle, and you hump up. So as funny as that is, I guarantee somebody gonna be Bluetoothing after this episode.
Guarantee somebody already done it. If you can think of it, somebody's already done it.
He's like,
Somebody right now is putting their dick in their belt buckle.
Oh shit! They doing what?
but Jordan, you have anything you want to say real quick?
Oh man, I love being here.
That's too much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
I was excited when I got the text message. I was quick to say, hell yeah.
That is sad about your life.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much for calling me here.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks for inviting me here. Can't wait till you invite me again.
Oh, are you crying, man?
I was laughing at this nigga.
Oh, that's why I was crying. I was like, damn, this nigga.
I'm over here, man.
It was a couple moments. I had to hold you like, I thought she was about to roll, but I'm proud of us all keeping this together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know.
But to everybody that's watching this, please continue to like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thank y'all. Yeah.